So I'm going to talk about the introduction of this book. This book was written by two doctors, Daniel and Tina Payne. So of course it's got rave reviews at the beginning, and we go straight to the introduction. Now the introduction is asking you if you've ever dealt with tantrums as a parent, which we all have. And it asks if you've ever handled your child's tantrums in a way that makes you ask yourself, could I have done this better? And of course, there are times when we handle them in ways that make us question if we could have done it better. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have shouted so much. So it's saying that you want to approach disciplining your child in a way that builds your relationship with that child and doesn't strain it or damage it. You want to have as a goal that you need to reduce or create less drama, not more. So if your child is being dramatic, your goal at the back of your mind should be, how do I create less drama and not more? How do I not add to the chaos that is already ensuing in my house? That should be at the back of your mind. And the truth is that we can do better because there are strategies, proven strategies that show that we can do better. And more importantly than that, apart from creating less drama, you want to help the child to be able to self-regulate. You want to help the child to create connections in their own brain that help them build emotional and social skills so that they can on their own make that connection that if I'm having trouble or if I'm not getting what I want, here's how I should proceed rather than go straight into chaos mode and start screaming and shouting. Now, these patterns, these strategies that the authors are going to introduce to us will help us teach our children to make those connections. It also says here that every opportunity you have to discipline your child is an opportunity for you to connect with your children and to help redirect them towards more healthy behavior patterns. So an opportunity to discipline is not an opportunity to punish your child. It's an opportunity for you to connect with your child and to discipline them in a way that fosters optimal development. So they are developing in their brain and you are also building a better relationship with them. So in this part, it says we're reclaiming the word discipline. And it poses a very important question. Is the objective of discipline to punish your child? And the clear answer is no. Even though you may feel angry and you feel like you want to punish, you might get irritated, impatient, frustrated. The objective is still not to punish. Okay? The real meaning of the word discipline comes from a Latin word disciplina, which means to teach, to give instruction. Okay? So discipline is not to slap, to shout at, to whip. Discipline is to teach, which is why if you hear that somebody has a disciple, because that's also the root word that brings out disciple, it means somebody that they are teaching, they are grooming to be able to make decisions as they would. Okay, so that is the goal of discipline. And this is really a big one for me because before I knew this, I just associated discipline with physical punishment. And learning about this really changed my perspective. So your disciple, or your child in this instance, is your student, is your pupil, is your learner. The disciple is the one receiving discipline. The disciple is not a prisoner, is not a recipient of punishment, but someone who is learning through instruction. This is why the main part or the major part of discipline is instruction, not whipping or slapping. The punishment might stop the behavior in the short term, but teaching or instruction, consistent instruction, it gives your child a skill that will last them for a lifetime rather than creating fear in them. And they need those skills. They need to be able to manage their excess angry feelings. They need to be able to consider the impact of their behavior on others all by themselves. They need to be able to inhibit their impulses or control themselves all by themselves. The only way you can build this skill in them is not by punishing them, is by consistently instructing them. Or in psychology, it's called systematic conditioning. So you do it consistently to a point where they can automatically self-regulate. Okay? They can control themselves. They can respect others. They can participate in deep relationships. They can live moral and ethical lives because they have been conditioned to do so through consistent instruction. Now it goes to the dual goals of no drama discipline. Now, this is a concept the book introduces, no drama discipline, which is discipline that, of course, like I said before, doesn't add to the drama, okay? Now, there are two goals that the author teaches about no drama discipline. And the first goal is to get your children to do the right thing, to cooperate with you and do the right thing. That's goal number one, cooperation. And the next goal is helping your child to develop a self-control and moral compass. So those are the two goals. Yes, I want you to stop acting up, but I also want you to develop a personal sense of control and understanding and self-regulation. So these two goals should be what we have in mind when approaching discipline, because these are the goals that will help them make better decisions and handle themselves better in the future. And think about the consequences of their actions and make thoughtful decisions. Yes, it will help them make thoughtful decisions as they grow. So, how do we accomplish these goals? By saying no to the behavior and saying yes to the child. What do they mean by that? Now, these are illustrations where you can see the mother telling the child, you destroyed your brother's sandcastle, have a timeout. Or the father saying, you were disrespectful, and as a consequence, you're going to have early bedtime, so go to your room. Or a situation where the mother is saying, you didn't wait for your sister, you're not going to get video games for a week. So unacceptable behavior consequence. This is the unproductive model. This is what we don't want to do, okay? Where your child acts in a way you don't like, you react, and then the child reacts, and it's just rinse and repeat. What we want to do is connect with the child and then redirect the child. How do we connect? We connect emotionally. Connection means that we give our children our attention. We listen to them. We communicate to them and make them understand that we are on their side. When our children are misbehaving, that is when they even need our connection the most. That is not when they need us to disconnect from them. That is when they need us to connect with them the most. And we must understand that beyond having a well-behaved child, in quote, having a healthy relationship with that child is more important than any behavior that you're looking for from that child. And we know this as parents, that our relationship with our children is more important. If we're being honest with ourselves, that is. So this is what connecting with your child during or in the middle of tantrums, when they are not being at their best, that is when they need us to connect with them, to listen to them, to communicate with them that we're on their side, and get them to open up about what it is that is really affecting them. This does not mean that they get their way all the time. Of course, we need to communicate clear boundaries and consistent boundaries. And children need to understand the way the world works. So we're not shielding them from realities of actions and consequences. No. They need to know what is permissible and what is not. They need to understand how to delay gratification, how to contain their urges, and how not to react aggressively to other people. They need to be flexible and know how to manage themselves when they're not getting their way. Of course, children need structure in their lives, okay? So this is not to say that we must bend towards whatever their whims are and give them whatever they want. But before we attempt to redirect them towards a more healthy course, we need to connect with them. They need to know we're on their side. We need to avoid bringing extra chaos to disciplinary situations by connecting first. When we connect, we are able to help them build that internal compass, and they can learn to rely on us for that, okay? And when they know that my mom or my dad, no matter the state I'm in, I can always go to them. They're always receptive. They always want to listen. It helps them build that, strengthen their executive functions. So they are more comfortable with us and they get the best instruction for how to manage their emotions. And over time, it will become part of them. So this is what the introduction is about. Teaching us that it doesn't have to just be a situation where your child does something you don't like and you go straight to reacting. It doesn't have to be that. You can learn strategies to help you develop your child optimally and build a relationship at the same time. If you see discipline moments as opportunities to help build those skills in your child, and also foster a better relationship with your child. So after this, we're going straight to chapter 1. So this is the introduction of the book, telling you everything you're going to learn or glean from the book.